Hi there. In this video, we're going to talk about integrations with Salesforce. We're going to demonstrate how quickly you can create that integration, mapping fields from Salesforce to Gecko so we know which data to push and pull. And lastly, we'll wrap it up by building a really simple form, submitting some test data and seeing that arrive safely in Salesforce. So it should hopefully be an action-packed 3 or 4 minutes. Let's begin by logging into Gecko and going to settings and the integrations page. What a start. And let's build a new integration. It's a Salesforce integration we're looking to track, and we need to choose a module. Now we support writing to both contact and the lead objects in Salesforce. It's important to note that this does change slightly how the integration works, but you are not limited to only writing to contact if you choose contact, or lead if you choose leads. This basically just tweaks the integration slightly, but you can still write to both and indeed any other object within Salesforce. For the sake of this video, I'm creating a integration with Salesforce campaigns for my events that we'll use later, and this is a production environment that I'm linking with. I then go ahead and click on the magic Salesforce button, and all I need to do now is log in with my lovely test environment credentials. Okay, there we go. We've now integrated with Salesforce. It's as simple as that. Now, the page that we're on is a really helpful one. Basically, what we're doing by default is, and the way to look at this field, this table is, on the left is the object or the module in Gecko parlance of Salesforce, so we can see the contact object because we said it was that module we wanted to link with. We can then see the attributes or the fields within that object, and at the minute none of these are being linked to Gecko fields. So let's fix that, because we want to be on our form, we want to push across the name, the email address, and maybe the telephone number as well. So let's say that for the Salesforce first name field, I want to push the Gecko full name first name field. And for the full name, Gecko actually breaks it up into the separate ones, so we'll ignore full name for the time being. Let's say none for that. And for last name, we'll tell Gecko that it's the full name last name field. And for the email address, we're mapping the Salesforce email to the Gecko email address. Now, the lovely thing about this is you can customize these to the absolute nth degree. I can't see a telephone field there, so let's try pulling one over. So we're going to choose a new attribute, and this is basically where you're telling Salesforce, here are all of the insane amount of attributes that Salesforce give you out of the box. Here's all of the different fields. Is there a telephone? Phone? Yeah, there's a mobile phone. Fantastic. So let's link the Salesforce mobile phone field to the existing Gecko field called telephone. And the lovely thing about this as well is that we can create fields on the fly. So if there was an attribute we wanted to map, let's say, I'm always terrible at choosing this, birth date maybe, and I don't have a date of birth field, then we could say to Gecko, okay, cool, the birth date field, that's going to be a date field, so let's create one on the fly. Anyway, the important thing is we have a rudimentary mapping. Now let's test this with a really quick example. So we'll build the simplest form you've ever seen, and we will call this my first Salesforce form. We're going to capture the name, the email, and the telephone because we've mapped all of those together. And crucially, we can see that these different fields, my face is in the way, sorry, are going to push whatever value we get to the Salesforce first name and the last name field, and it's very simple to set up. I can also tell Gecko, as soon as you receive a response, try syncing this to Salesforce automatically. Or if we wanted to get more granular and say, you know, if maybe the very first question on the form was, are you a student or are you a parent? And we only wanted to sync it if they said a student, we could create a workflow that said, if you're a student, then sync to Salesforce only. Anyway, let's go ahead and fill in our form submission. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to pause this and bring up my log into Salesforce, and we should hopefully see this having pushed across. Okay, that is all done. It's taken about a minute. You can see when the response was created. Taken a couple of seconds to create that, but we now have a Salesforce ID. So let's now go down and hunt this particular contact down. Super. So we can see that we've pushed over the student details, and hopefully if we go to the details, yeah, we can see we've created the name, we've pushed over that, easy for me to say, pushed over the email address, but also the telephone field, all off of this one form submission. So very, very quick and easy to set up. Thanks very much for watching.